Jane's father took me down to the North Philadelphia station to get on the train. That was a lot of memories, going through all the towns. Yeah, stopping in the water towers where the engine fill up with water. That is memories that I still have. And then just the fact that Florida, everybody talked about Florida, and that was a good place to go, you know, for our training, and that's where we went. Basic training. What was it? I think 13 weeks basic. Yeah, it was great. You know, it was tough. The adjustment to going to bed at a certain time and getting up at a certain time in the morning, and the mess hall and eating, and that stuff was hard to get used to in the beginning. But eventually you did. You knew you had to.
Paratroopers are all volunteer, and so of course you had to sign a paper and send it in to Department of the Army, and then you had to pass a physical examination in order to be accepted. So once you were accepted, then it was ordered to Fort Benning, because that was the only training facility that I knew of then.
That was a special thing for a paratrooper, was the boots, you know. Always had to shine them up, spit polish and all that good stuff. My jump sergeant, Bob Flynn was his name, when he found out that I was from Philadelphia and he was from Philadelphia, we got into a good companionship. You know, we were really good friends, and he used to really you know, look after me and make sure that I was getting through the training okay.
They had a officers platoon. I guess might have been about 30 of us, of officers. Then they had enlisted men who had volunteered, and they must have had several companies. I don't know how many people they had, but anyhow, they all went through the same type of training, not at the same time. The officers were trained as a platoon separately from all the enlisted men. I don't know what the enlisted training was, but I'm sure it was about the same thing as we had. But it was excellent training. They had sergeants who really knew their business, and there was no fooling around. If anyone talked back to them or anything, they got rid of you. So that was a key part of it.
I go down there, I report to the major. He says, "Sergeant, you're going to go to C stage at the towers. Here's your t-shirt, here's your hat. You're going to be an instructor." I said, "I joined the paratroopers to get out of being an instructor." He says, "We tell you what to do. You don't tell us what to do. You report to the C stage in the morning." I said, "Okay, sir." So that's what I did. I did that for 4 to 6 weeks. I don't remember. I think it was about 6 weeks. So we went to the training area. The first A stage was all calisthenics. The second stage was jumping out of mock planes, like, you know, and the mock risers. You come down and you go down and you hit and you learn how to tumble over and everything. And then the third stage, you went up on the towers, 250 feet. They take you up and then they release you and you come down. And they do that for 5 days. Then this fourth stage is when you actually jump out of the plane.
The training period was 5 jumps. Then you would qualify for your badge, your wings, they call them, the wings. It was a five jump training period. It was four day jumps and 1 night jump. And the first jump, it was really interesting. I mean, you know, you were sure you were a little bit nervous and scary, you know, to get on the plane and sat down. Of course, the first jump, you didn't have all the equipment on you. The only thing you had on you was your extra chute, and then the chute on the back, which was hooked up on a line that when you left the plane, that chute was pulled and it was automatically opened. Nothing you had to do to, when you jumped out of the plane, to open that main chute. So then of course you had your reserve chute, which was strapped on your stomach, like if you were like going down in a streamer, and a streamer is if the chute didn't open. See, that was we called that, and I seen a couple of them going right straight down. Once it opened, and guys that didn't pull their chute, reserve chute, just went right down, and, but anyhow, my hand anyhow was always on that reserve chute when I jumped out of that plane. I wanted to make sure I had some kind of help somewhere if I main chute didn't open.
Then on a Saturday, they give you a 9-mile run. You come back, you go in and get shower in the swimming pool, whatever you want. Then in the afternoon, you have your jump clothes on, and you stand out in formation. I had them all standing out in formation, and then the major from the school come out, and he pinned the medals on all their parachute wings on all the men.
At that time, I was, mom and dads were struggling along with the kids, and any little thing I could send, more that I could send home would be okay, and that's where it went. Anything that I got extra, and probably most of the Army paycheck went to Mom, Oh yeah. I was just thinking, at that time that here I am, the oldest guy, and ready to go out and help the family get along financially, and I'm not there. I went in the service, so I thought about that.
Well, he kept in touch. He wrote Mom a lot of letters to the family saying that he, kept us, abreast of what he was doing. And he was very, very, very involved in save the country, I think. He's very serious-minded for a young man. In fact, I started to say, he came home and leave one time, and I was up the swimming pool up in the boulevard. And being 14, he said, "Who's that handsome man over by the gate?" And I said, "I don't know." I looked up with a cigarette in my hand. And he said, "Come on, get in the car." And drove me home in the rumble seat. I had to leave all my friends because he caught me smoking. So we used to kid about that. And I said he ruined my life because he took me away from my friends.